What is going on, you guys? Alex here with Sportline, bringing you another Tesla video. Today we're going to be checking out the Sportline drinks cooler, which is basically going to be like a mini fridge for your Tesla. We're going to be installing it on our Tesla Model Y here, walking you through the install and showing you how it all works. So here we've got the drinks cooler itself. It's going to come with a wiring harness, and that is all you're going to need to install this. It's going to tap into the factory cigarette lighter, so we're going to have to disassemble the center console a little bit, but we're going to show you how we do all of that. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're inside the car now, and the first thing we're going to need to do is start disassembling the center console. And you're going to want like a plastic trim tool for this. If you don't already have a set of these, it's definitely worth picking up. It'll save you from scratching your interior trim panels. So the first thing we're going to need to do is remove these panels here, and you can just take your plastic trim tool and they just snap in like this. And now we can come in just with our hands and just start pulling this off. And it just snaps in. And we can just work our way down the side. And now we have this off, so we can just set this to the side. So now we have some T20 Torx screws going all the way down, and we're gonna remove these and remove this silver trim right here. All right, so I've got a ratchet here with the T20. I'm just gonna start removing these screws and we'll pull this trim piece off. I'm gonna set them in the cup holder here so we don't lose them. So this you can kind of lift up and out at the same time, and it should just pull right off. All right. Now we're gonna have to do the same thing on the driver's side, because as you can see, that silver trim kind of overlaps this cup holder area, and we're gonna need to pull this cup holder trim off to get to our cigarette lighter. So we're gonna do the same thing on this other side. So same thing, we're just gonna get our plastic trim tool to get this started. And you might have to use a little force to get these to unclip. They are a little bit tight. And then same thing, our T20 Torx screws here. We'll just lift up at the back, work our way up. So now we're going to remove this cup holder trim right here, and you can just grab it at the sides, and we're just going to pull up like this. And be careful when you do this, because there is going to be an electrical connector we're going to have to remove once we get this off. So right here, we're just going to press our tab here and pull it out. So now we can set this to the side. All right, so once you get this cup holder trim off, this is what you're going to be looking at. So we need to get this plug right here. This is our cigarette lighter, and we're just going to tap into it. So we'll unplug the factory connector here, and we're going to take the plug on our fridge wiring harness. It's going to look just like the factory connector, so we're going to take this and plug it in to our cigarette lighter. And then we can take the factory cigarette lighter plug and plug it into this end. So now all this will still function as intended, and now we have power for our fridge. So we're gonna take this wiring, and it's gonna run down the driver's side here, kind of like this, and then our silver trim is going to end up covering this up. So for now, we're just going to kind of loosely get this portion of the wiring harness to the back of the vehicle where the fridge is going to be, and then we'll move to the back seat and show you how to disassemble the back of the center console so we can install the fridge. All right, so we're getting ready to move to the back seat, and before we do that, I'm actually just going to take the front seats and move them all the way forward. This is going to help give us more room to work. All right, so you can see this space underneath the factory center console here. This is where our fridge is going to sit. It's going to look super clean, super factory. So what we need to do now is we're going to pull this off, and we can simply do that by grabbing it with our hands and pulling out. It just snaps in just like that. So we can just set this to the side. All right, so first thing we're gonna do once we get our top piece popped off is we're gonna get this very bottom trim piece, and here we'll use our plastic trim tool to get this started. I'm gonna go in the bottom and try and get some room to get my fingers in there. And we'll pull straight out, and it will unsnap like that. So you'll notice there's gonna be 2 Torx screws at the very bottom. We'll have to remove these, and then we can unsnap this middle piece. Okay, so just like up front, we're gonna use a T20 Torx, and just go ahead and unscrew these. So now we should be able to pull down and unsnap this middle trim piece. And we'll put this to the side. We're not going to be reusing this piece. The fridge will replace this. All right, so now we're going to find this wire here, and similar to what we did up front with the cigarette lighter, we're going to be tapping into this. So we'll just need to go ahead and disconnect this, and it should just pull straight apart like that. So now we'll take this portion of our wiring harness and do the same thing we just did. So we can plug this in like that, and then take the factory plug and plug it into our new harness like that. All right, now we can grab our fridge, and we're gonna move it down closer here because we're gonna need to get this white plug and plug it in to the back of the fridge here. So I'm just gonna set it on the floor. And now we can get that plugged in. So you can see these tabs here. This is just gonna snap in to the center console just like the factory trim piece that we removed. So the majority of the wiring is gonna go behind the fridge when we snap it into place here. But I'm just gonna make sure that the wire we ran from the front of the car is kind of tucked up like this. So once we move back up front, we can route that nice and clean. So I'm just gonna get this lined up and snapped into place. And I'm also gonna move our top trim piece up like this so it's out of the way. So, just snaps into place like that. You can see, nice fit. Matches the center console. Now we can take our top trim piece, snap that into place, and you can see it all fits together seamlessly. All right, back up front here now. We've got our wire coming from the fridge from the rear, and what I'm gonna do is just take it and tuck it underneath the plastic of the center console here, and then we're gonna have our silver trim piece that's gonna go back on here and cover the rest of this up. All right, so now we are ready to put our cup holder trim piece back in, and I've got this wire routed in this little indentation here. This is gonna give us room for the wire to go through. So we're just gonna need to make sure we plug this back up. This is a sensor for our key. And now we can just snap this cup holder trim back in. Just like that. All right, now we can go ahead and put our silver trim piece back in. And make note, there's these little tabs here. This silver trim piece needs to sit over top of those. Same thing in the front. Should look like this. Once it's seated correctly, there's a small amount of overlap on the cup holder here. Nice and flush all the way down. All right, so once you've got it sitting over top how it should, we can go ahead and get our screws started. All right, we can go ahead and tighten these up now, and it doesn't really matter which end you start on, but I'm gonna start at the back here. And you don't need to crank on these super tight, it's just holding plastic. All right, now we can snap in this side trim piece. Just like that. Press it down all the way along the side, make sure all the tabs are in. Should look like that when it's finished. All right, now on to the other side. Same thing we just did on the driver's side. We're just gonna screw these back together. All right, same thing we just did on the other side. We're gonna get our side trim piece, line up the tabs, and get it snapped into place. Just like that. Right, we just completed the install. So if you get to this point and you still have a couple of pieces left over, don't be alarmed. These are the trim pieces we removed from the back of the center console. We're not reusing these. So you're gonna have these two left over and the two screws we removed. So now we can enjoy the fruits of our labor, enjoy a nice ice cold drink. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. If you wanna check this out for yourself, you can do that at tsportline.com. If you have any questions about what we did today, make sure to leave a comment down below. We'd be happy to help. Other than that, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime we post new videos. We've got lots more Tesla content coming very soon. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.